Hey everybody, so it's Crow and Osiris, and we're starting our first episode of the Corvus Spatium podcast.
Hello, everybody.
So today we are going to talk about some of the new stuff that's come about. You know, we've got the new uh, the monthly report that they dropped that has some really cool stuff about ships in it. Things. First, we're going to just kind of go about who we are and what our plan is. You want to start, Cyrus?
Um, you're putting me on the spot already?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Osiris. I'm one of the founding members of Corvus Spatium. We um
So how long
try
have
and
you
have fun.
how long you been in Star Citizen now? Was it 6 months?
I started in August of 2024.
Okay, and I started
So,
May of 22, 23. So coming up on 3 years for me. So uh, yeah, so we're gonna try and do this weekly, and each week, we're going to do any of the news that's come about up till Thursday, and then from there we're also going to do a little bit of like a ship preview, like show, talk about it. So today we're going to talk about the Starlancers because we've got the news that has come in from the
monthly update.
monthly update. Yeah, the right button there, which is uh, that should be up there now, or maybe. Hang on. There. So yeah, we got the. We'll put this link in the description at the end. But what we're really interested in is this stuff down here, the art ships. So the in March, the UK-based vehicle content team completed the Drake Golem and the Argo Atlas Geo mining power suit, and they also have this part. The Starlancer TAC moved into the final development phase, and that I think is huge because to me that tells us Starlancer's coming probably next month for Invictus, and that's huge because I know myself and a lot of other people are really interested in that. Especially with these uh, missions coming out with the collector stuff. Also,
So,
the pioneers progressed through White Box is a big one. What are you saying?
so question for you. So, for those that may not know or are fairly new to the game, what is Invictus?
So that is their fleet week. So like the U.S. Navy, they'll have like ships come into port and they be do a big, show, let you tour the ships and things like that. Invictus is Star Citizen's military show. So it's all where IAE is all the ships and every manufacturer gets a day. Invictus is all military ships, and it's all out of Area 18. Every every manufacturer is invited except for Drake. And because of that, Drake decided, well, if you're going to snub us, we're going to make our own con with hookers and blackjack. And they have Drake Defense Con, which is at the spaceport at Area 18. So you get off you land your ship, you get off the elevator, and you can go right to the Drake's uh, show, which I think it's the last 2 days of the week, and then the rest of the week is all the other ships. But the you'll have all the military ships, so you won't have like uh, the whole C's and the C2s, stuff like that. You'll have the A2 and M2, but you won't have all the cargo ships, and you won't have the miners and the salvage ships. It's all military, combat related. So the Starlancer is a military ship. I have a,
It is a combat ship, from my understanding. I didn't think it was a military ship.
so if you read the description, it says for long range patrols. So to me, that's saying patrolling is more of a military or paramilitary, position, not just a crew going out and doing combat. So
Yeah.
that's my take. I see it more as a mini Perseus. It's a gunship. It's going to be your C-130s rolling up and giving heavy fire support. I have these actually that when we get to it, talk about the stuff
So
there.
from what I remember, the only difference that I could remember from the base Starlancer on the TAC
Uh-huh.
is it adds 2 additional turrets
There's
on the outside.
there's
On the outside.
on the outside there's a little bit more. But let's finish talking about this and then we'll go to the ship. So we got the Pioneer coming through White Box, which is a big thing. And a lot of people have been waiting for the Pioneer. The other one that I know you're very excited about is the Apollos. They have passed its White Box review gate and moved into Gray Box. So White Box is basically matching the ship to the concept artist, from what I understand, and Gray Box is going in and making it functional. So it's still got a ways to go. It's not, oh, it's there yet, but it is getting there. So it's going to be. I figure Apollo is going to be CitizenCon at earliest, or IAE, and my table is doing things. But yeah, the Perseus is in the same position. So I would expect to see those two ships come in at CitizenCon or IAE. The Perseus is out of past its review, white box review at the start of March, and both of them, it says that they've benefited from the Zeus and the Polaris because those are all RSI ships. They've all benefited from that. So
Fro, what I understand is they actually made a kit when they made a few of the recent RSI ships for what RSI is supposed to look like to make it easier for those RSI ships to be churned out.
yes, so they have a basically this is what we use to make these ships. Is from what I've gathered. I mean, I don't know what involves in this kit. I'm not a developer at all. I couldn't tell you how any of that works. But I'm assuming there's something that just assists them in making it easier. So yeah, that's they specifically list the RSI kit. I'm not sure what that involves, but there is unannounced vehicle successfully passed gray box review, which the use of vehicle and not ship to me thinks maybe ground vehicle, using more of a like the little Argo trucks, stuff like that, because we are supposed to have one of those coming this year. Uh, there's two other vehicles also received a bug fixing pass and final content work ahead of their release. So sounds like we've got several ships that are getting ready to be out real quick. Let's see. The yeah, the table just jumping around. The other thing, we've had the Geo and the Golem released, was it last week? But was it been a week
Yeah.
today? A week today now. We got the Atlas Geo, which is really cool, and the Golem. Haven't had a chance to do a lot with the Golem. We did a little bit of it, but the Golem, I think its biggest benefit is its size. It gets rid of the habitation part of it, and it's just the bare bones. Here's a ship that does its job, Drake. You're not going to get all the fancy RSI touches and all that, your origin and
Love,
all the
I
fancy
love how
things.
they used the cockpit from that one vehicle.
It's got very similar cockpit from the Mule
It is the same cockpit.
stuck on top of a ship. Yeah.
It is the same cockpit, which is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, so I think, we got a lot of ships coming in real quick, I think. But I think they've got a lot of. I like the way they're doing the monthly major updates. They told us, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and get the game to work a little bit better. But there doesn't look like they're sacrificing giving us the things that we were kind of promised at CitizenCon. So hopefully it's going to go well for us.
So I did see something in their R&D on the monthly post
Uh-huh.
that they're going to be updating the gas cloud rendering planetary volumetric clouds.
Yeah,
So they can refine the density and stuff like that. Which
yeah, so that would be like Crusader is all volumetric gas cloud. It's a gas giant. So we'll probably be getting even better clouds here. For a long time, Crusader was the best looking planet because it did have the clouds that the others didn't. So now everything's catching up to Pyro. So the Aberdeen clouds are amazing. If you haven't gone and seen those, definitely suggest you going to do that.
make sure you go on the day side, because if you go on the night side,
Yeah.
it is very disorientating. Because 1 minute you're in darkness, and the next minute you're not.
But yeah, it's definitely. I'm not a huge fan of Hurston just because Hurston, the city at Lorville, is horrible to me. It's just a crappy layout. But I think the Aberdeen, the way they've done it, I think it's actually on Hurston also now that they've added the clouds. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on into the ship portion. And I actually brought this up. This is actually on the website. And are you looking at the stream?
I am not. I am currently looking at my second monitor, looking at the
So
comlink transmission when the Starlancer was released.
yeah, I'm going to. If you go to the Starlancers page on the RSI, there's a holo viewer, and you can actually. It's the hologram that they use for like the displays that you can actually scroll around and zoom in on. So on the top here, you've got basically the same layout except for right here. This is going to be the snub hanger specifically made for the Furies. I'm hoping that you're going to be able to fit like the Argo tractor and stuff like that in it. I think that would be a really good option haul around that. One of the Argo PUTV, whatever it is, because either picking up or dropping crew, moving cargo, in it, because you're going to still have 96 snap to the grid back here, plus what you don't snap. So on the max, from here back to here is all cargo. The elevators that drop down. On this version, they added the turrets here, and then you've got the med bay and the drop seats in here. And I'm not sure, the way this looks, these might still open for the drop seats. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But you've got the two manned turrets here on each side, one on each side. You've got your pilot guns on the nose here, plus your remote turrets on the top. This thing is going to be putting down a lot of power. Where the max, you've got lots of upper protection, but you don't have a lot of fire below. Now you're going to be able to drop your crew. I think it's got 8 seats in it.
I sent you a link that you might want to take a look at and pull up for this, because we can actually see some of the actual interior images
Okay,
that
yeah.
they have
Yeah, this
planned.
picture here also makes me think more military base with it going just, yeah. But yeah, you see the snub hangar here. And then yeah, you've got your turrets down here, or one on each side. Yeah, so these I think are just for aesthetics. These are your turret seats, I think, for your bottom. This is your med bay, I'm assuming. There's little beds there. Oxygen tanks, it looks like, you know, aesthetically stuff. This is back to the where the turrets are. I'm guessing this is supposed to be like fuel or something like that. Maybe ammo storage. That could be
Uh,
ammo storage right there, because it's built looking like it goes in there. So it could be an ammo thing. I
Most
think these are
likely
just
is.
like greebles over here, just to kind of give it a look. But yeah, I think you have.
Yeah.
So from what I'm looking at, I think these are going to drop down, and you're going to have your 2 turrets with 4 people on each side. So you've got your hip gun or your guns on the side, your 2 big guns, but then you're going to have these 2 ballistic Gatling guns that are manned inside. So I really think this is still going to drop and give you your drop seat straight out.
So the way it looks, if you go to the final page, it does drop down,
Final
kind of
page.
like the actual where you are at the moment, where
Okay.
it shows the 4.
Yeah.
If you look on the side, you can actually tell that that area drops down.
Yeah. I hope it
That's
does. It's
that
it,
right there is the center catwalk.
so I think it's either going to drop down or that's going to just open up and they're going to run out.
Yeah.
That's going to be the 2 options. I'm hoping that it drops down. I think that'll be a better option than, oh, you just jump out, because then you got to run in the ramp and come back in, or the elevator, which is
Yeah.
slow. And it would also, these guns being up wouldn't be as useful. I think if they're sitting down low, they'll be a lot more useful. That's my take on that. Because is there a good shot? That shot here. No. I think I had a. It doesn't like this. But where was it? So yeah, deep space built for deep space patrol makes me just think military based. Military
Yes.
spec, jump seats, things like that. They're just little keywords that I'm seeing that make me think it's going to be in the military stuff. You know, it's a even now the military will take, civilian built vehicles, and they have dump trucks that they took and they removed the dump bed off of them and put missile launchers, like for mobile, like missile launching platforms. We don't really know speed, any of that right now. We know the size, and we know it's going to be 96 SCU, cargo, and the crew. Outside of that, we don't really know. So the Starlancer Max, we have speed for, all of its food. So 135 SCM and 990 in nav. I really think this is going to increase some, but not a whole lot on the speed. Uh, I'm also thinking that they're going to increase the number of shields for it. So you've got 1 shield now. I think they might add a second shield for the military version, maybe. Just like on a lot of other stuff, they modify it to make it work. The let's see, I mean, you've got the turrets that we have on it are already are size 4s, and the noses, the pilot's guns are size 4s. So that's 4 and 8 plus. I think these are going to be. Does it give us hard points? Yeah. So the it's going to have two size 5s. That's what's going to be the two additional ones they add, and then the same number of missiles, I believe. Uh, Actually, this would probably, yeah. So it's, yeah. So definitely going to have two large shield generators on the TAC. So that's going to be an improvement. Um, I think everything else is probably going to stay really close to the same. It may get a little faster, but I don't think it'll be very much.
If anything, I think they might just update how
They,
turns and yaws
yeah,
and stuff
the
like that.
maneuverability will probably be the thing that changes. It'll probably turn like your yaw and stuff like that. Your roll will probably change, but you're not going to be a lot faster because you're still same platform, and they're not increasing a whole lot with it other than just making it have more guns. So you're sacrificing the cargo space to add more guns. So yeah, that's that's my take on it. So we've actually got the max out, and we can go look at the and see where we think the changes are going to be. So let's go look. You coming? All right. So this is a sapphire paint, which is really nice in my
This
opinion.
is
And it also the paint on the Atlas matches. This is the monsoon, I believe it is. They match. So the guns are going to be the additional guns will be up here.
Oh,
in,
no, I'm not.
in this area here. So
so from that image we looked at, I think this is going to be. So you know how this drops down?
uh-huh.
I think it's already going to be
So
dropped mostly, and
this
it's going to drop ramps.
I think this area here is going to be where the med bay is, this back area.
Yeah.
Then this is going to be your drop seats where the two Atlases are. And then this is where your guns are. I'm hoping that they keep this to drop somewhat, because otherwise, even with just this vase opening, that's not a very much of a angle to see through. Because they didn't change the belly contour in the pictures. It still has the same slope and everything. So it didn't like add stuff down here. It still tucks up underneath. That's just my take on how that works, because it's got to come down some way for the guns to be useful. Otherwise, you're just going to be able to shoot like where I'm standing, maybe a little further out. And yeah, it's because anything like back here would be able to shoot right in there, and the guns wouldn't have a shot on you.
Yeah.
Because I could shoot the legs out of anybody standing there on a turret. So the tackles still have this area that's the same. They didn't change this. And currently you can stack a 32 and then one SU high on top of that 32. So you can have 96 total. But you can also fit at least two 32s off the grid in here, or a small vehicle like the Ursa Lynx, things like that, Cyclone. But yeah, this will be the med bay area, and I imagine that this will be like one big room instead of splitting it. Then you'll have the drop seats here, which they may own. I don't know how this is going to work actually. It's going to have to drop somehow, and it may be this whole platform drops some way. But I'd imagine they'd keep that catwalk there somewhere. Then you'll have your turrets here. I honestly would have liked to have seen the turrets and the drop seat swap, just so that you're closer to your armory. Because I imagine the armory is going to still be here, same spot. I don't think they really talked about that because I imagine the armory will probably be bigger.
From what I am seeing, it is bigger.
But
and from what I'm seeing in the images I'm looking at currently, right here is where they're going to be putting the turrets. So
yeah, they'll be about
like up to
about where I'm standing.
No, the turrets will be right where you're standing, but I think that room will be about to where right here. And then they'll probably have the drop seats to about here, looking at the size of about from this red light right here.
So
from this red light right here to this red light right here is probably where the drop seats are going to be.
No, you can look on the hollow view and see where it's going to be because it's broken up into the sections, and these supports are where the sections are. So from here forward is the turrets. They're back to the second wire is the drop seats, and then this is the med bay, which has two size 3 beds, tier 3 beds, and I imagine they're just like tucked here and stick across.
It says they got 2 tier 3 beds, so
yeah, 2 tier 3s, or they're running long ways from that wall. I'm not sure. I think we had a picture of it somewhere. Yeah, so the med beds are going to be, it appears to be against the wall I'm standing against, looking at the pictures. And they extend out to about here. Looks like you'll have to kind of walk around. And then the next picture shows turrets. Yeah, the pictures are out of order on that page, but
yeah.
Yeah, so you'll go from medical to the drop seats to the turrets. And the turrets will be good because they'll give you they should be able to give you an arc of fire while it's landed too, to, anybody trying to come up to the drop seats. Hopefully. Because it doesn't look like they stick out too far down. I'm sure they extend some, like how the Corsairs pop out and swing. I don't think they'll have a whole lot of swivel though. Something they don't talk much about is what's going to change up here. So I'm assuming back here the engineering will stay pretty much the same.
The image I'm currently looking at, the main thing that's going to change is where the habitation is going to be gone. It is going to be the snub hangar.
Some of it, yes. There's still going to be some habitation. it'll be more bunks. I think the snub hangar is actually going to be where the kitchen galley area is.
From the image I'm currently looking at. Yeah, the door just slammed in my face. The image I'm currently looking at looks like the bunks are actually going to be where the kitchen is.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, one of them will change.
Yeah.
If the hab area takes over the snub by the snub area, that'll be a big hangar. Because I could totally see this being the snub hangar size for the Fury. Fury would fit in this area fine.
Yeah, it would, but like I said, if I could share what I'm looking at. On that image, that link I sent you,
Uh-huh.
where it shows the exterior,
Yeah.
you can actually click interior, and that should pop up what the interior looks like.
Oh, enter. Yeah. So.
And if you see that snub hangar's fairly taking up all of that.
So this is what we're looking at. So yeah, this will be some kind of bunk room area. That's where the ladder is, the escape pods. This doesn't look like it's much bigger at all where the armor is.
Yeah. But it does look like there's more lockers.
Yeah, there's going to be more lockers just to outfit the guys. Engineering. Yeah, so that may be a big hangar, bigger than we think. It says it's specifically made for the Fury, but where it's at, that's a big area.
Because that is the entirety of.
It also looks like they
The
may have
habitation.
removed those elevators that were back there.
No, the elevators are still there.
Okay.
They just.
Yeah, because they
come
left
out
the hallway.
exact same.
I think it would have actually been better if they would have taken the hallways around it out, left the hallway from the engineering into the hangar, and then hangar into the habs. Have like little tube hallways instead of having the sides all the way around. But I also don't see where the entrance for the. I'm assuming on the end here by the habs, because there's a door there. But no, this is definitely. I'm putting my money on it coming out next month, and I've already got one. And yeah, so it's got two size 3 shields. We know that from here. 8 jump seats, crew of 7, which this page says crew of 6. The current on the RSI site. So I'm not sure which one, but 2 remote size 4s, 2 man dual size 5s, and 2 size 4 twin linked weapons on the pilot. Tactical confidence. That's factory standard. Oh, you can change the paint on the.
Apparently, my shirt glows.
Oh. That is another good looking paint. But no, that's what we've gotten this week on our news areas. So, do you have anything else to add, sir?
No, not anything else to add, but
It's a little inappropriate. Well, we're going to keep these short, little, quick videos that give us our news for the month or for the week, and anything that we're going to do a ship every week, talk about it. we were initially going to do Zeus this week, talk about the Zeuses and the differences, and then we had the news about the TAC, and we wanted to talk about that. But I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Cyrus, what about you?
Tune in next week for the Zeus.
But